Here we are, episode 2 of On Trend, the TrendDesk podcast. We screwed up royally last time, didn't we, with our forecasts?
Yeah, slightly off.
In a good way, I'd say, though.
Yeah.
Wasn't terrible.
Yeah, we didn't predict how big Black Friday was.
What was it we actually said? What was our prediction for last week?
Our
Black Friday?
prediction was it was going to be 8% bigger than Singles Day, because our data was showing how massive Singles Day, and we hadn't seen anything like that before. We were about, I'd say about 20% off that number.
So what was the final number?
Well, in terms of revenue that we saw come through on Black Friday, that was over 12 million. Where we were on Singles Day was about 5.8 million.
What was the difference in our forecast, though?
It was about 20% higher.
Wow.
Yeah, cheers for, turning the knife.
How did you get to that forecast in the first place, though?
Well,
and how did you get so terribly wrong?
More to the point.
A couple of great questions there. I'm going to throw myself a lifeline and say that I haven't adjusted this for new business.
Oh, right, okay.
So,
okay.
When we do that, it might go from like 20% to 19.5. So it looks all the better.
What I will say, though, is, to be honest, if it wasn't for the current climate, do you think? I think your forecast probably would have been as accurate in the first place.
Yeah, I think this Black Friday, and it's probably going to be the only Black Friday like this, is digitally exclusive, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Absolutely no chance for anyone to go to shops and buy any of these things. So it was just like,
it's an anomaly, isn't it, when it comes to the data, really?
Rabid dogs.
So based on that then, because obviously Black Friday seems to increase year on year on year on year, are we going to see our first decrease on Black Friday next year?
It's crazy that, isn't it? Because we said we're probably the last time we see Black Friday is the biggest day, but now we've gone from that to potentially, like you said, we've potentially got a decrease next year.
Yeah, I think that's going to be right. If we say the macro trend we were talking about the other
Are
week.
they online? I didn't know they had eCommerce macro.
We haven't introduced James Lees yet, actually.
Have you? No, you haven't yet.
When did you join us?
Monday.
So you probably, if anyone's seen the podcast before, you joined us regularly at one point, but
I
golf took over, didn't it?
Yeah, well, the golf course is open, so
yeah, that's
I
true.
didn't have to talk to you on a Friday afternoon when I play golf instead. So, yeah, I'm back, baby.
Back in the room. First time being in our studio, though, isn't it?
First time in the studio, and I'd just like to say what an honour it is to be here.
Oh, sorry, I'll let you go now. Carry on.
About macro.
Back to macro trends, really. We were talking the other week about how the macro trend was for inflated sales and inflated traffic throughout all of Q4 and November, and less of these massive peaks. So if that resumes, which we think it will, and the fact that next Black Friday probably won't be digitally exclusive, I think we will have a drop off, and that's on record now. So you can corner me next year.
This time next year, we'll start again. Yeah. Imagine it increases, mate. Egg on your face.
Well, we're also dealing with larger data pools and data numbers because of the amount of clients we're growing. So technically, it probably still will be larger, but we think
if
we account for that
idea of it,
on average, we think e-commerce clients will not do as well as they did this year.
Have there been any statistics come out nationally about the impact Black Friday's had yet in regards to the big plays in the game, things like that? Has there been any national statistics yet? Because I haven't seen them.
Well, if for people who haven't had both their eyes glued onto Excel for the whole week, they might have seen something externally. Me, unfortunately, I have been knee-deep wading in data since Black Friday ended, really. So I haven't seen anything else out there.
I haven't, actually.
I haven't either.
No one's shouting about it just yet. Anyway.
No.
We might get some. Obviously, by the time this goes out, it'll probably be a different story when we get in next week.
But with TrendDesk being so new and a really exciting proposition for us, it's
Nice pitch.
It's been really full on to just try and bring this all together. And
Yeah.
if people have seen the dashboard at salesfire.co.uk/TrendDesk, you'll see how much work has gone into it, and it's a real vital tool for e-commerce. It's free, really, to see if your performance is matching what your competitors are doing commercially, which I know from my experience within data, that kind of insight is really hard to come by, and if it is, it's not very cheap.
Yeah. Agreed.
Definitely. Have you seen? I know you've been looking into industry specific as well.
Yeah.
What are we looking at in regards to breakdowns when it comes to per industry and benchmarking?
Well, let me get back into my beautiful Excel spreadsheet. And
I'm at a disadvantage here, obviously, with the lack of eyes at the back of my head.
We're just showing pictures of you, essentially.
Yeah.
Just photoshopped.
Sound.
It's a nice one of you, face deep in a Burger King there, James.
Fair one. More of a KFC man myself, but YOLO.
Top line stats, everything grew year on year, and even average order value. So that's something that isn't really affected by the amount of clients we bring on. Is affected, depends what type of client we bring on, but we also saw a growth in average order value. However, that growth was nowhere near the pace of the growth within revenue. So top line.
So did we saying average order value stayed the same or similar?
No, it grew year on year, but when you compare it to the growth of revenue and orders year on year, it didn't grow as fast.
Okay.
So there was a lot more activity on Black Friday this year. A lot more shopping being done, a lot more people browsing. And although average order value grew, it wasn't to that rate.
Yeah.
When we look at category breakdown industry, that's when we find stuff that's really interesting. So this chart you'll see on the screen is looking at the year-on-year growth of some of our largest categories within e-commerce. So things like sports and performance clothing, and accessory, fashion, home and living, and the top growers, animals and pets as well, which is quite interesting. I think that is a trend through lockdowns.
I'd like to think this isn't buying dogs and cats online. We're thinking more the supply side of it.
No, that's our animals and pets trafficking.
Right? Fair tools, right?
Through the roof. But it has been a trend in the last few years. People buying. You see everyone buying pets for gifts for the pets.
Gifts
now.
for the pets, and I can't speak
Cringes me
from
out a bit, but
data.
Would you buy gifts for your pets?
You see it on Valentine's Day as well. People.
No, they don't.
Gifts for your pets. Google searches are up like 30%.
Valentine gifts for dogs.
Yeah.
Should be ashamed.
I mean, no, I'm not even going to go there. But
The thing is,
like, I used to buy Christmas presents and birthday presents for my dog, but then I had a kid, so I didn't need my dog anymore.
Wow. How's that any better? That's not better than Valentine's Day.
Well, birthday and Christmas presents. Valentine's, like, you buy your girlfriend, partner, whatever. Like, that's a love thing.
Yeah.
Like,
What do you mean? Well, so is Christmas, to be fair.
yeah, but Christmas, I'll buy my son a Christmas present. I'm not getting him a Valentine's card, mate.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
I
It's for your significant other.
All right, yeah. Good answer.
I was
Thanks.
saying this is a lockdown
Think so.
trend as well. I think I don't have the data on this, but anecdotally, I feel a lot more people have bought pets because they've been in lockdown,
Yeah, that's true.
and they've probably spent more time with them, so maybe they have developed those romantic relationships.
I'd have been lost without my gerbil, I won't lie. Would not survive lockdown.
Other massive growth areas, home and living, which is interesting again. Lockdown
That
related, you
makes
would
sense,
think.
doesn't it?
Yeah, lockdown one, mate. I went insane on that stuff. Absolutely insane. I got a brand new house inside. It was ridiculous.
But were you more interiors or like garden
interiors,
stuff?
mate. I bought a few bits and bobs garden, but yeah, interior. I think there's only what room didn't we decorate? The kitchen. That was it.
It's crazy, isn't it?
The room got decorated.
It's nuts.
And what I really like about this chart is you can see the top year-on-year growth industries at the left-hand side, but then there's quite a strong trend on the average order value growth on more towards the right there. So it's like the industries that grew the most year-on-year in Black Friday were growing on increased traffic.
Yeah.
But then also industries that grew but not as strong, it had that increased average order value.
I mean, you'd imagine you see that with gaming. They released new consoles recently, so you were seeing that coming. Vaping,
Massive in Sunderland now. I mean, huge growth in Sunderland on vaping.
I think that was specifically just in Sunderland.
Yeah, it was on it.
Geographically, this would be very interesting to look into.
So here's a question for you then. So obviously, with every single sector is pretty much going to see growth in Black Friday because of the lack of high street, etc. Which industry do you think grew? Which industry do you think grew just because they grew in popularity based organically was going to happen anyway? And which one do you think saw the most growth because of the lack of high street activity?
It's a really interesting question.
Thank you very much.
It's a great question.
And the one definitely we'd want to delve into the data to try and find out. I think things like home and living, we talked about this on the last podcast about how people became either chefs or gardeners. And you see a lot of those industries which are in a way quite selfish industries. I think when Black Friday first came about, a lot of people used it as a way of buying big ticket items and getting some discounts off Christmas gifting.
Yeah, it's like fighting over TVs and Asda and stuff like that.
You saw that. Whereas I think some of the main growth industries, stuff like watches, home and living, kind of running gear, sports and performance, health and beauty, more like, I think more personal buys now. And
Is that what you mean by selfish?
Kind of,
Right. Okay, I get that.
See, if looking at home and living on TrendDesk from this period last year as well, there was no noticeable drop or dip from Black Friday all the way through to Christmas, whereas it's completely different when you look at what happened this year. Already it's completely different. Which I imagine, home and living, it's one of those tangible things, isn't it? It's like you go into Net, you buy new pillows, you go into Next, or you go in somewhere, you want to pick it up, you want to feel it essentially, because it's something you're going to be sat on, something you're going to be walking on.
Yeah, but I think this 6 months of lockdown has shifted people's attitudes and behaviours online to now be more open to buying these kind of things.
Be interesting to see returns data. I mean, it's something we obviously haven't got access to.
Well, that's it, yeah. And I remember back in one of the early podcasts when we had Alice Hall on, and she was going through her returns figures for Pink Boutique days, and it was insane, really, really insane. It's like it's stuff like myself as as a marketeer, I've always kind of looked at sales data, cost of sale, things like that. But then it's difficult taking that returns thing. It's like how big a return's going to be during this period because they haven't had the high street option.
Completely. That's one thing I don't think people talk about enough, to be honest.
I don't think they do. I don't think they do because I think everyone's talking about the big numbers, and then the retailers sat there thinking, "We're nice when you got me loads of sales, but you know what? My return rate's up 25%."
Yeah, especially when you're looking at affiliates as well. And people, it's a lot looser how people can judge what a return is and what constitutes one.
It'd be interesting to get a retailer on, I think, Sharpish to talk about this impact, and especially when the impact it's had on returns as well.
That is a good idea, that, yeah. So I imagine our data, you see the spikes and things like that, but imagine having to set your warehousing up, picking and packing, but also dealing with all that volume of returns.
And the new kind of procedures that have to go with that, people having to cleaning things and
exactly,
holding them for 2 weeks before they can resell them in some places.
Is that still the crack with returns and stuff?
I'm not too sure. I'd be guessing if I said.
Recently bought a few things from Next, showing my middle class here.
On age.
Age or middle class, yeah.
And yeah, I think their returns policy was like, oh, you've got to give it back, and then they've got to hold it for like 10 days, give it a clean. You're not watching them, so that might be they'll hold it up and say clean and put it back in.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think them kind of procedures are going to really affect those big retailers.
Yeah.
Well, what else is there that you're even going to get returns on? I imagine the animals and pet stuff, you're not taking much back, are you? And it's interesting, the growth of average order value as well on the animals and pets. They've absolutely killed it in terms of growth. But that average order value seen barely any increase at all.
So that suggests that it's been more, there's been more demand there this year than really anything to do with kind of the products and what they're buying behind
Yeah, it almost insinuates that people are testing the water with it, doesn't it? Like low average order value, but really high demand for those like single items, whatever the single.
Well, that's with home and pet. Is like, you know what, Pets at Home ain't open.
Yes.
My local pet store ain't open. I have to order online. Do click and collect or get it delivered to my house. That's where your average order. It's like usually the supplies you would run past Pets at Home at your local retail park. That's where that'll be seeing the increase, surely.
Yeah.
So look at that construction, almost 600% increase in growth, but not even barely even a percent growth in average order value.
I'm surprised there's a big growth in construction in that instance because if you look on the trade side of things, they were all still open.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
that's
say they all,
interesting.
the ones I know
Think
of
about
were.
that. Yeah, they were, weren't they?
But I think that plays into our
Is that the home DIY?
Home DIY. More demand.
Crossover there, didn't there?
They probably haven't had to increase the order value because that has been an industry which has been really going well in 2020.
It's amazing that there's not even a percent growth across our network there, though.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
In average order value.
In average order value.
Whereas like gaming stands out, doesn't it, with the two consoles coming out in November.
Do you think that spiked the average order value there? What?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. How much is a PS5? 500 quid?
Something like that, yeah.
They usually benchmark about 4. But they'll have like a standard and maybe then a deluxe with like extra memory.
Really, I thought that's quite cheap compared to what I was thinking. Because like, you know, new phones, if you want to buy them outright, they're like $1,000, aren't they?
What's the percentage of people who buy new phones outright, though?
I used to have today, Josh.
Pardon?
Check
Yeah,
it.
yeah. It worked out cheaper to upgrade on a SIM-only deal,
Yeah.
part X my phone into Apple, and then get it on interest-free tick for 2 years.
Oh,
By the
really?
way, we have no affiliation to Apple.
Yeah, or interest-free.
Sat here with
Oh,
our
take it
apples.
back, yeah, I do.
We do have an
Partnership.
affiliation with interest-free tick.
Or
don't we?
Budweiser,
we
but
take
if
it
you
all
want to
back.
kind of
Banners, like.
sponsor
We do.
the podcast, then we will take that.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, so there we go.
That's crazy.
You've met your first person who bought a phone outright.
Well, it just shows
Works out cheaper.
what happens when you start throwing statistics around like that, and then someone sat next to you and actually has done it straight away.
There you go.
Makes you
You're
look like a
talking
fool, doesn't it? Like when you project something and you
Yeah.
have to come back in 2 weeks and tell them why you were wrong and you'll never do it again.
To be honest, your forecasting was great for business owners though.
Yeah.
Considering what we thought it was going to be and what it actually turned out to be.
Yeah, we probably should have added in things for the external environment as well. You know, how with it being digital only, but yeah, it's worked out well if you're in e-commerce.
Anything else of interest on there?
Wouldn't know.
You wouldn't know, would you? We'll have to
Well,
get a second
one
screen.
thing I would like to bring back to our attention is a more holistic view of November.
Okay.
And how in the last podcast we talked at length about a phenomenon we had just seen happen, which was Singles Day. And
I think this is the one that surprised me and Rich anyway. I think This
Yeah.
is one that we weren't quite prepared for.
So I've heard a lot of references about the single day. Can you play, for my ignorance and maybe people who haven't listened for before, so what's Singles Day?
well, great question, James.
Thank you. It's my second one on the podcast. Go me. I'll be on again, Warner.
So Singles Day is a Chinese-led event, and well, it's big in China. It's never been big in the UK until this year, and it is an event for single people to show their appreciation of being single and buy themselves something.
Happy people.
It's kind of like a Valentine's Day in November for single people.
Is it? And so we say it's a Valentine's Day, so people are celebrating their singledom. Are they also on the lookout to? Hey, I'm shopping for Singles Day as well.
Oh,
Would you
I
like
didn't
to
think
go
about
for
that. Coffee. Yeah, I think it's that, and it's also been wrapped up in this. There's a big. There's a much more awareness around mental health and things like that now, isn't there? So it's a bit of a sort of have some be kind to yourself,
Yeah,
a bit of self love type thing.
You know,
I think
treat yourself. If you can't treat yourself, who can you treat?
Exactly.
Situation.
And
I like that.
that's why we have Singles Day, I think.
And that hit the UK big this year, did it?
Yeah, we saw it. We have a lot of fashion and clothing clients, which is particularly effective on Singles Day. And we saw massive growth, and it kind of blindsided us. Wasn't something
I think that was it. We
planning.
pulled the stats on it that day, and I think Rich said, this is crazy. We had a spike. We thought there was an issue with one of the tracking modules. And then Calum turned around and said, no, it'd be Singles Day.
So you at this point of Singles Day happening, you and Rich were kind of blissfully unaware of what
I'd
it was.
heard of it. I just didn't. I was unaware that it was a thing here quite yet. As much as we saw it within what we saw coming through our network.
How long I've worked in e-commerce, and I didn't really know it was that much of a thing.
Had you heard of it though?
Yeah, I've heard of it in passing, but it's like not something I'd ever like.
Never really took
it's
it
not something that's
seriously.
been massive on my radar.
It's a bit like the Chinese New Year. Like you know it, but you don't know of its effect on e-commerce.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know its effect on e-commerce, but I know you always get a good offer in your local restaurants.
Yeah.
I was in London in Chinatown with Chinese New Year before. It was mint.
Oh really?
Proper class, man, yeah. Superb. One of the best nights out I've had in my life.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I mean, the missus are down there. It was class.
Oh nice. What were we?
That would do with e-commerce, but YOLO.
Did we see any shifts towards particular industries that did well? Anything to do with average order value?
Well, we did. Josh.
Oh, there you go.
Here's something else I want to see
I'll
on
give
screen.
you a great
Get
question, Josh.
I knew I'd be of value at some point.
2-1. Great questions.
So
crap! I'll get one more.
Swearing.
one thing about the TrendDesk is that we can look at those like kind of monthly revenues, monthly orders, monthly users, and we can start filtering them down by industry, which is really interesting because not all industries have this kind of peak. Where we look at all industries, we see a kind of two-pronged peak where we have Singles Day and then commerce returns to normal, grows, plateaus, then we get Black Friday. Now, when we kind of refine by clothing and accessories, we see that same double peak, but we see it accelerated. And it looks like clothing and accessories accounted for nearly half of all sales on Singles Day.
Wow.
When we look within fashion, we see that, but even further accelerated. So the difference between our clothing and fashion industries is fashion is a lot more like brand led. You kind of Louis Vuittons, your Gucci's, whereas clothing and accessories is more your retailers within clothing.
Right. Okay.
So we see a large proportion of all Singles Day spike was from these two industries. If you look at other industries like large ones, health and beauty or gifting, there's no peak on Singles Day.
Nothing. James, you can't see this, but literally
I'm trying to look at the reflection on your glasses, to be honest.
It's flat.
If we take health and beauty, another huge industry, no spike on Singles Day.
It's almost like it's flatlined again.
Yeah?
On both, yeah.
So it's absolutely selfish purchasing then, would you say?
Yeah, I think it's fashion led, 100%. So if you're a fashion brand listening to this or a retailer, kind of your likes of Flat Spot, Urban Outfitters, who are kind of custodians of lots of brands. Singles Day is huge.
Is this would it from you looking at data over the many years you have, Cal? Would you say this is the first time you've seen Singles Day have a huge impact on UK market?
Yeah.
Right.
I I would say so.
Do you think that's because of the situation we're in regards to lockdown and stuff? Like Josh mentioned there, mental health being a big thing to try and promote this year because people have been locked down and what. And it's like,
does
you
it
know
have
what?
legs?
Like, if you might be lonely, you might not have your family around you and what have you. Do you know what? You deserve a treat.
Yeah.
Go get yourself a new hoodie.
Yeah, I think that's the case. I think as well, it is demographically driven.
Right. Okay.
And I know I'm gonna start sound like I'm walking on eggshells because I feel like I am.
This is
but
another forecast.
this is it. Singles Day didn't have large campaigns behind them, or if it did, I didn't see any. There was no television campaigns. There was no email campaigns from retailers that have my details telling me about it.
I saw one, I think, come through to mine, but
Did you?
I didn't get hammered. I don't think it
So
got
in this
hammered.
instance then, like for next year, there's a huge opportunity for a retailer to kind of really get hold of this and like,
Yeah,
bang the drum and hammer it home and be like the thought leader for Singles Day.
like imagine if you could go back, let's say, 10 years ago, 8 years ago. Imagine if you could go back 8 years ago, and you
Stone
can
Light as well.
tell people like Amazon and Argos and big retailers, John Lewis, there's this thing called Black Friday. They do in the United
That
States.
is true when you put it
is
like
coming
that.
here.
Yeah.
I feel like this is Singles Day.
A similar thing.
We're here and we can say, look, if you're in fashion, if you're a brand, then this is your Black Friday. And next year is probably the only year you're going to have where not everyone knows about it.
Well, that as well, but Black Friday now isn't Black Friday. Is it Black Friday? Is Black Friday week? Black
Yeah,
Friday
Black Friday week.
fortnight?
It's a race. Like I think it's hilarious watching. Like, so I buy mainly fashion, like men's fashion, and it's funny seeing the main retailers that I shop with, the first one to twist and offer the discount because as soon as the first one goes, you'll get an email off the other ones like over like the next 24-hour period, like like let's say End go first, and I'll get a mainline one an hour later.
Yeah.
Cycle go after that. Anyone in the JD group go after that. It's hilarious what happens, and yeah, it's like you could be that with like that's what the Black Friday week thing is. But this Singles Day thing, like you could be the face of Singles Day.
Yeah, it's still
You
possible,
could be
isn't it?
You could be the person who
You
like
could.
the whole thought leader for this.
Yeah, you could. The opportunity's still there, isn't it?
It's still there. No one else has done it.
It's quite crackers, that.
Carl Ridley of TrendDesk and Salesfire is the man of Singles Day.
He could get you on that wave.
Sounds
Peak that
perfect.
way.
I think I could be an influencer. I have thought about it.
Well, we have Rich Hims with the e-commerce influencer of LinkedIn
Yeah.
on board. So
No, we have the
do
statistical
with another one,
influence.
couldn't
We could do with a
I think
couple.
70 Instagram followers, so I'm nearly there. aren't
Oh,
I?
we can get you up there with this, I think.
Yeah.
we could easily get you to 74.
Do you think we start seeing Singles Day week then, or do you think we're too
Singles Day week.
we're too early? I think we're too early for that.
He's already
I've
for the
yeah. I don't think it's mature enough for that. I think even Black Friday had 2 or 3 years of being Black Friday before.
Yeah,
I
That's
think it was
true.
Curry's PC World were the first ones, and Amazon who Curry's PC World called it like a black tag event, and they
Oh,
would have
okay,
it for a
right.
week. And I think they thought they were bigger than they are, and thought, we can coin this term, and it can be as big as Black Friday.
Right,
and
okay.
everyone's like, "No, no."
I remember when it was a day, and I remember I was on my way to work, went to Tesco, I've got no dinner, go grab a meal deal in Tesco. And it was absolute carnage, people fighting over these Polaroid TVs and stuff. I was like, what's going on? I just want a BLT. I want a BLT, and it kind of looked head, like, what's going on?
Came out with a buzz.
Yeah.
I think that's true though. I think the
I
first
did do that before, you know.
Yeah.
I went to Tesco on my dinner, and this wasn't Black Friday related. Went to Tesco near where I used to live. I was like, all right, I'm gonna get a meal deal. I'm hungry. You just get some fried chicken wrap and whatever. Anyway, I get me basket, walking through. I see the soft was this is about 2010, I think. It was a 42-inch 3D telly, 3D DVD player, 8 pairs of 3D glasses, 400 quid. Like, right, you're having it. Went in for a sandwich, bought a TV and a DVD player.
Wow, you're like the dream Black Friday
That's
buyer.
my wife, mate. I am easy.
How did you sneak that one in? The house?
See, this is the days before I used to sneak them in.
Okay.
This is why I need to sneak them in now. So I got an Ninja Fuji at the end of my desk. Yeah, I'm going to get in the house. I don't know. Can't put that under my arm, can I? Imagine you start cooking us some tea. Oh yeah, the oven hasn't been used. I don't know, Kel, don't know what's going on. I'm just like, that's clean as I go. I used to work at Mackey's, didn't I?
For me, it was, I never even knew Black Friday was a thing till I saw people fighting over TVs. I think
Yeah,
that was
that's what it was. That's like when it came, like the news, like what's going on here? And then you go back on that night, it's like, oh, everyone was scrapping over a cardigan and next and stuff like that. It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah, I know.
What are you doing?
I don't think we've seen Singles Day in the. I think I saw it a couple of years ago, and it was first a thing on TV and stuff. And I think there was a few articles on BBC about it and things like that. But this year, I haven't really seen much about it at all.
No.
Like, you could be a retailer and get like a sponsorship deal with Naked Attraction. And go on like on a Singles Day thing, couldn't you?
What do you mean?
Well, Naked Attraction about getting like single people and that, innit? I'm just thinking like somewhere you can like go proper off piste.
Oh wow, this is we're giving some strategies
It's
out
not very
here.
good for fashion though because they don't wear any clothes.
That's true.
And summers in there.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, there you go. Giving a free actionable insight as well. How
Maybe
about
cut that bit.
No cuts nowadays.
Yeah, we don't.
No cuts
Speaking
now.
of cuts, I'm running low here, like.
Ride or die.
Yeah, I think we're probably running up on wrapping up. To be fair, have you got any big forecast for Christmas?
Well, whatever I say is not going to come true.
What,
No, it
that
will
is
do,
the
just bigger and
forecast.
better though, Cal. That's what we found out. You said there was going to be an increase, so it was bigger and better.
Yeah,
That's it.
that's true.
So you could say like you're going to have a great Christmas, but really it's going to be proper mint.
That's what I mean. Are we going to see it carry on through Christmas like we've seen it carry on this year? Because everything's just grown and grown and grown and grown, but it's got to stop at some point.
Yeah, I think it's gonna stop or plateau in a way because we've got news of a vaccine.
Not the band.
Yeah.
They're not making a comeback. Thanks.
Don't quote me on anything science related. I'm not Chris Whitty. But yeah, we've got news of a vaccine. I think retail's open now, even in tier 3. So
That's true. Do you think we're going to see an effect on Christmas with that though?
yeah. Although I think there was heightened traffic online, accelerated purchasing. So a lot of people will feel that they've got a lot of Christmas done early, but there's always a novelty aspect that comes with
Yeah,
these
it's
things.
experiential, isn't it? It's going for a beer and you're out doing Christmas shopping, that type
Can't
of
do it
thing.
now. Can't do it till you're 3, mate.
Oh well,
Oh, that's true. We can't, yeah.
No.
Unless you do a bit of tier 2 tourism, which we are not.
Tier
Endorsing.
tourism, I haven't heard that. That's hilarious.
Yeah,
That's
disclaimer: we're not endorsing that.
Yeah.
tier tourism.
But yeah, I
Yeah.
think there might even be a bit of a backlash as well in terms of people have shopped online and go back to these crippled high streets and might want to.
Well, they want to help the high street, which is a
Yeah,
nice
put
thing
it
to
back
do.
in.
Nice thing to do. Helping that much that people queuing outside Primark on a daily basis. Because you know what,
Yeah.
for 4 weeks I'm not buying any leggings or a £2 t-shirt.
Yeah, I know. It's a weird one. I mean, it might be this is the peak we will never see again. The vaccine coming.
It's crazy that we may well be talking this time next year that e-commerce is down.
I know.
It's grown year on. I think was it May this year? It was
Yeah.
up 81% in total in the UK. We may be talking this time like next year, like okay, e-commerce has dropped.
It's a crazy thought, really, when
Well,
you think about the wave we've been
true.
sort of riding so far.
Well, unlike James's belly, things can't always keep on growing, can they?
Oh wow! Oh wow!
Oh wow, what a wrap up that is!
Yeah, whatever.
Look at that.
I don't even know what to say to that. Like,
I think we need to keep this going. I think you need to prepare one for Cal for next week. That's
Sound,
where we
yeah.
go with this.
yeah. He's only happy because he's not the new boy anymore. That's all that is.
Oh, that's true. Yeah,
We'll have a few
yeah.
more drinks down us, son.
You're the one. You're gonna.
Tim Mawson thought you had it bad, mate. Having it.
There's a reason you're wearing a Stony, isn't it?
Exactly, mate. Yeah.
You know how to handle yourself.
We've
I'll
got
take you posh boys on.
we got a new bad boy of the podcast. Right,
Bad boy
amazing.
of the podcast.
I think we can wrap that up there. So, are we going to be seeing anything from TrendDesk in regards to reports and newsletters this week?
Yeah, lots of things on social. Loads of people have signed up to receive emails from us, so we'll
Awesome.
be getting them straight into their inbox. And yeah, we'll be continuing the analysis, the TrendDesk page is live and it's continuing to get better and better. So
Cool.
I just suggest people go to that and
Get the
play
links in the
around.
description.
Mm.
Nice one. Speak to you boys next week.